Everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Jet Set Insider. My name is Robert Murgatroyd, and this pretty lady to my right, left, right, it's right. It's Kimberly Murgatroyd, my hot wife. For those of you who don't know who we are just a regular couple of people that share an insane passion for boutique travel, and we do it all on our website, jetsetlife.tv. And now we are taking that passion to the podcast world. In these podcasts, we share fun stories, travel tips, some embarrassing videos of Kim, and we just kind of take you inside of our crazy life. Now, today, we've got a really, really cool... By the way, I got my hair done. You didn't say a word.
Oh, God, this is the second time.
Yeah, this is the next one.
Do you want to know why? Because you get a cut every 2 weeks.
3.
And so it never looks different. Because it never had time to grow.
The gray is coming back. I'm going to have to do a little color. We'll talk about that later.
You're going to do color?
We'll talk about that later. Kim.
Yes?
Tell them what we're going to talk about today. And do you say Barth or Barts?
Well, we'll talk about that
Barth,
too. So we are taking you this week inside the rich, glitzy, glamorous, somewhat pretentious little baby French island in the Caribbean. I go with Caribbean. Do you go with Caribbean or Caribbean?
I go with Caribbean, but I'd like to be able to say the Caribbean with the emphasis on the bean.
Okay. So we are taking you to the little tiny island of St. Barts. And yes, sometimes it's spelled with a Barth, with a TH, and sometimes it's without the H. So there you go. Last week, our little blooper rolls were so popular. We had so many people talking about them and writing in about how we pretty much just make fools of ourselves. So we decided to do a weekly segment of So You Think This Is Easy, where you get to watch our outtakes.
Mostly Kim's, because I make very, very little mistakes. You made a lot. If you remember from last week, it was mostly your mistakes.
It was mostly me. And our next segment, titled Rob's a Diva, we are gonna catch Rob's nonstop rant about how he is just so frustrated getting to the island of St. Bart's. Next,
I was just going to say it's a bear, but we'll go there when we go there.
On our International Fear Factor segment, we're going to talk about how our flight to St. Bart's pretty much almost killed us. And all of those things involved. And if you've ever flown to St. Bart's, you know exactly what we're talking about. In our next segment, we are going to title it Blame It on the Jet Lag. This is where Rob and I become slightly delusional while driving around the island. I wish I could say it was jet lag, but I think the time difference is all of an hour. I'm not really sure what the problem was there. In our Fat Rob segment, this is a new one, we are going to look back at some embarrassing video prior to Rob's jet set body. Next, we are going to do injuries from the road, and we're going to show you the painful side of travel that sometimes happens. It's a really long show today.
Yeah.
In our segment.
By the way, for those of you that remember Happy Days, Fonzie couldn't say he was wrong. So he had to say, I was...
So that's our little joke.
That is our little joke.
That's our little joke. So we're going to have a little segment called I Was and in this week I concede to my husband about the phone of choice.
We'll just leave it there for a moment because I have a lot to say.
Yeah. And then in our awkward segment, Rob attempts to become a French nudist and tries on a Speedo for the camera. And let's remember, this is prior to Jet Set Body.
I'd like to tell you that...
Are you burping again?
No,
the gas?
I'm a little gassy.
What is the gas every day?
Maybe it's my nerves in front of the camera.
It's like you're belching next to me. I don't get it. All right. So that's what you have this week.
I was going to say something about the Speedo, but we'll just...
It's going to speak for itself, don't worry.
Yeah. All right. So let's start it right at the top. So the first segment is So You Think This Is Easy. So, as many of you know, even though I have a map behind me and I travel all around the world, you would figure I'd know where the hell I am. I have no idea where I am. So
that's really why he has me. He says I have an ass compass. I have a little compass in my ass. I always know where I'm going.
So this first one, let me just say this at the outset before we get into any of these videos. Number one, this was, I think, our first destination, our first Jet Set Life destination.
Yeah.
Which means the technology really was not available to us.
There was no HD. There was no microphone.
There was no external mic, which we use now. The little, you know, they call them lavaliers. They clip to your T-shirt or whatever. There was no HD at all, let alone 720, 1080i, and all that stuff.
And our camera had a little light on it that would shine and only put light in like one area of your face. So it's just pretty. It's pretty funny. So you're gonna have to excuse the video that looks like it's from 1984.
So when you couple the bad video with the bad body, it looks like...
You're lucky it wasn't in HD.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Stop burping.
I don't know why. Could we cut that? Maybe we'll have to cut that. I don't know.
My God.
I don't know what it is. That was you. That was you. That was you. Did you hear that? She just, look who's calling the kettle black. I have her throat. She just went, well, she's making fun of me.
Yeah, but you look like you have indigestion. You're like, all the
well,
time.
At least I didn't make that god-awful noise you just made.
I'm gonna use the other mic and I'm gonna tape you farting at night. And we're gonna see what happens.
So anyway, please excuse the video because it is absolutely awful, awful, awful.
But let me set it up. So,
and I was 40 pounds, in all seriousness, I was 40 pounds heavier. So when you look at this, you'll be like, did he go through a funhouse mirror? I mean, what is that? It looks crazy.
Yeah.
And that was before jetsetbodyonline.com.
Can't help himself. So in the videos you're going to see Rob, again, not know where he is. Then you're going to see why Rob will never get American Express to sponsor this show.
Well, let's do them one at a time. Let's do the first one. The first one is...
I just said it.
Rob won't know where he is. So this is me inside the St. Bart's airport, Kim pointing the camera, and me going like that. Okay, so let's go to the clip.
We just arrived in St. Bart's. We just arrived in St. Where are we?
Martin.
St. Martin.
So you can see clearly I just landed and had no idea where I was.
Don't think you were in the St. Bart's airport. That's the problem.
Okay, so then that night...
I think you still don't know where you were.
I don't, that's a whole other story. We'll get into that when we talk about the international fear factor flight over there.
Yes.
And then you could see that night I had even less of an idea where I was in this clip.
A great spot to check out on the island is called the Cafe.
So, you know, you think this is easy, right? I'm standing outside a restaurant and I don't even know where the hell I am.
So that's that. The next one...
I'm adjusting.
They needed an up-close view of you? Stop moving. You're like a 3-year-old.
I need a better angle.
You're so fidgety.
Yeah.
Why don't you burp again? Okay. So in our next clip, it's going to be why Rob will never, ever, ever get American Express to sponsor this show.
In all seriousness, you will see how bad I was. And I appreciate it. I get compliments all the time from you guys saying, you are amazing on camera. No, I'm not. It is the power of editing. Let me tell you.
Well, you've gotten better.
I've gotten better, but there's 400 clips that we had to delete. So let me show you.
And this is the one we kept?
Let me show you what I was trying to do to work out, you know, maybe, I figured someday down the road, maybe American Express, fine hotels or resorts would look at me and go, look at you. We want you. Okay? Yeah. And this is what they would see.
We booked this hotel. We booked the Guanahani Hotel through American Express Fine Travel and Resorts. We booked this hotel through American Express Fine Hotels and Resorts, the Guanahani Hotel.
So they definitely are
How'd they
not.
do?
Did your phone ring yet?
Yeah.
Have they called?
No, they haven't
Okay,
called.
they're not calling.
American Express, if you want to know how to get a hold of me, just email me at heyjetset@gmail.com.
And they're going to tell you to take that clip down.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Go ahead. So you want to set this one up?
So, yeah, this one was pretty funny. So we went out to this bar that I'm not sure is there anymore. Things changed there very quickly, called Oak Corner. And we had dinner, had some drinks. Actually, I think Hillary Duff was there. And
Oh, did I just drop that name? Excuse me. Did you just drop something?
yeah,
I'm
it's
sorry.
on Florida. Let me drop the picture real quick too. Do you wanna?
Oh,
Ding.
yeah.
Oh, see, Hillary. There you go. So Hillary Duff was there.
Is she smoking in that picture?
I think I cropped that out. But, you know, she's come a long way since then. This is years
You know
ago.
what? Tell the Hillary Duff story. It's okay.
No, I'm not.
You're not going to tell it?
Mm-mm.
She is protecting Hillary. There's a little bit of a salacious story that she won't tell.
That's not
if you
nice.
want to know, email Kim at heyjetset@gmail.com.
I'm not going to tell it.
Try and get it out of her. Maybe you will.
I'm not
Maybe.
I'm not telling it. So, anywho, little Hillary Duff was there, and you know, it was a big party. We were drinking, and it was great. Champagne, 1 bottle, 2 bottle, 9 bottles, whatever. And then we decided to talk about it outside, or Rob did, on camera. And this is what happened.
Am I on? There's two really cool clubs that we've checked out so far. One is called The Strand, and the other one is called O'Connor. And they're nightlife in St. Bart's is fantastic. There's two places you got to check out. One is called because I've had too much champagne tonight.
Okay, we're back. So you can see that
They know we're back.
a couple of
I don't think you need to tell them we're back.
how do they say it in Italian? Stata zit? You could
Vaffanculo.
ooh, for our international viewers.
Just saying.
You could see pretty.
Now we're explicit in Italy.
We're explicit in many languages. Now you can see a couple of cocktails. You don't even know where the hell you are. All right, so let's talk
Honey,
about.
you don't need cocktails to not know where you are.
Yeah, that's true. Let's talk
wanna move
about.
on?
Yeah, we're gonna move on. We're gonna talk about the diva segment. So let me just. We'll tie these two segments. The next one we have is the diva segment before we get on the plane. Then we're going to move into international fear factor, but they kind of go together. So we'll kind of set them both up, I suppose. Well, let me show you before you go to St. Bart's. It is not the most easy thing in the world. I want to show you my frustration, and then I'll explain why. So let's go to the clip of me in the airport.
You mean your diva moment?
Yeah, here we go.
Share.
Here we go.
I have never, in all my years of travel, been subjected to such chaos.
Tell me what's going on.
I can't even talk about it. I just want to go to St. Bart's. Why is this so hard?
Okay, so you can see that I'm starting to get a little bit whiny. But honey, I'm going to get this all wrong. So you explain to them how one goes to St. Bart's. Like, it's not the easiest thing in the world.
No, we booked our hotel and then tried to book the flight. And when you kind of type in the computer, really nothing comes up. So what you have to do is, what I assume is that most people going to St. Bart's have a private jet. We, however, do not. So
We don't?
no. So here's your options. Your options are to fly to St. Martin and to take a teeny tiny little plane over to St. Bart's.
What's the difference between St. Martin and St. Arten when you see it with the two A's? Is it just spelling, or are they different?
No, it's the French side and the Dutch side.
Oh, so one is
Saint Martin.
Saint Martin.
And Saint whatever.
Okay, go ahead.
So you fly from St. Martin over to St. Bart's, and there's, I think, 1 or 2 airlines that do it. Not on every day. It's like Tuesdays and Saturdays and some little fakakt thing like that. So that's one way.
She throws the Yiddish in every now and again. Fakakta.
See, what do you like?
By the way, for all those who ask, no, I'm not Jewish.
Okay. So, anywho, the other option...
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Oh, my God. So there's another option. I think you can fly from San Juan as well, or you can take a boat. I get very seasick, so there's no way I need to take a ferry or anything over there. So we flew. And when we got to the airport, The flights aren't running on time, nothing's on time, and really the fun part was they didn't even tell you when you were going to fly. So there's no way to get there but a plane or a boat, and we booked the plane, but they wouldn't tell us when, so that's why Rob was ranting about everything.
All right, so then it is in theory quite simple to get there once you land in St. Martin. It's 10 minutes. 10 minutes,
Not
okay,
even.
literally. So let me set this clip up because we actually have some video to show you exactly what it's like to
I have a funny story too.
to get on the plane. But let me say this. For those of you that don't know, and how would you know, I am insanely claustrophobic.
That was my story.
Oh, go ahead, then you tell it.
Yeah, because it happened. My poor husband. I protect this man like you don't even know.
She does.
So we get, seriously, he's really claustrophobic. We get to the gate, and we're finally going to take off, and it's us and another couple. And we're like,
Can I describe the other couple?
no.
No, I'm gonna say it nice.
Okay.
I'm gonna say it nice.
Don't be mean.
I won't. Karma. I'm from Queens. And in Queens, there's a little bit of they can be a little bit of a demanding bunch of people, the New Yorkers. Well, we have two New Yorkers. I'm gonna call them Morty and Sylvia. Okay, we're just gonna call them Morty and Sylvia. So Kimberly says to Sylvia, who's
well, let me explain the plane.
yeah,
We get over to the plane. It's this big. You're about to see it.
that was bigger than it was.
That was bigger than it was. There was a back seat, a middle seat, and a front seat. Guess who sits in the front seat? The pilot.
Yeah,
Okay, so that one's out.
right. Because he has to drive.
The middle seat has a little door you open, and you can get into the middle seat. The back seat has no door and no window that opens. And yes, the windows on this plane open, so go figure. I'm going, how do we get in the back? And he said, just fold the seat forward. So it's kind of like your mom's old car where you had to climb over to get to the last seat of the station wagon.
Right.
Okay. He's claustrophobic, terribly claustrophobic. So now I'm looking going, okay. So I asked this lady, I said, ma'am, if you wouldn't mind, my husband is incredibly claustrophobic. Would you mind sitting in that back seat? No assigned seats, by the way, so I don't even know why I'm asking. But I'm like, would you mind sitting in that back seat because he needs to be next to the door? I know it sounds crazy. And she goes, yes, actually, I would mind.
So I'm going,
I'm like,
okay, I'm claustrophobic. I can't get into a fight with this woman right now.
I was
so
like, ugh.
when you see
It
this
wasn't
video,
very nice, honestly.
when you see the video, you'll see a little clip of her. And her husband was actually a very nice
guy. He was a
guy.
very nice guy.
You'll hear him because he says, Morty says to the pilot, "Drive." My wife says, "Drive carefully." So you'll actually hear that. But to give you an idea of what this is like, you get on this plane from St. Martin. It's one of those like you get off, you get on the tarmac and you get on the plane, and the pilot literally just opens up the door and sticks his head in and does the safety instructions with like his head just popped in, and he says, "I wish you a pleasant flight."
I thought he was going to like throw peanuts and like call it a day.
It literally is like a taxi. It's actually smaller than a taxi.
Yeah.
So to take off, is it the takeoff where you have to go clear the mountain, or that's the landing?
That's the landing. There's two ways to land in St. Bart's. There's a hill, and then over the hill, like we like to call a mountain, there's the runway. At the end of the runway, there you go.
Yeah.
At the end of the runway is the ocean. So you can go up over the hill, nosedive basically, and land and hope you don't go in the ocean. Or you can go around the other side, land normally, and hope you don't hit the mountain at the end. So, I mean, it's not the safest landing. It's actually pretty freaking scary.
It's like, I would say it's a solid 10 minutes from kind of hell, but then you're there.
No, it's beautiful. The whole ride over, you're low, it's beautiful, and then you approach the runway, and you're just scared for your life. Because the runway's, the island is tiny, so the runway is 3 feet. Like,
it's a blip. So let's show you this.
The instruction, the safety card, the life vest is stored under your seat. Wish you a pleasant ride to St. Bart's with me.
Drive carefully.
Right. She said drive carefully.
I'll do my best.
But the runway is really, it's like this big. So we came in on the lucky runway, which is like, 3 feet longer than the other one, where you got to kind of like spin around a mountain to get in. But
okay, so you can clearly see. By the way, did you see Morty? Did you see Sylvia? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you understand? By the way, if you feel my pain and you understand what I was up against, and I've remained very nice to Sylvia and Morty, if you feel my pain and you get it and you've been involved with Sylvia and Morty in your travels, shoot me an email. Put in the subject line, Sylvia and Morty. Tell me, I want to hear, this is what I want to hear. I want to hear your Sylvia and Morty story. And if it's a good one, we will put it on the podcast next week.
And if you have a video, it's even better.
And if you have a video, it'd be even better. Or if you want a video of yourself.
Sorry about the coughing.
If you want a video of yourself telling the Sylvia and Morty story, put it on. And if it's good and
So now you're going to tell someone their video sucks?
No, I meant like good, not wearing like wearing clothes and not doing like some weird hi, let me tell you about Sylvia and Morty. You know what I mean? Because this is the internet. Let's be honest. There's some freaky people out there.
Cover your mouth.
So I'm sorry. I choked a little. Okay. So before we move on to the next segment, I want you to explain to people, because a lot of people say, "Oh, I don't like the Caribbean." Oh, I went with Caribbean.
See?
I do say Caribbean.
Depends on the voice you're using.
Yeah. Well, it depends on who I'm doing. I don't really like the Caribbean. See, I can go either way. How would you describe?
I heard that about you.
Oh, that book we got up there. We got
I heard that about you.
Did you hear that?
3 times.
That book we got from the hotel. Tell them about St. Bart's. Like, how would you describe it to somebody who's never been there? And they're like, what's the difference between
because they're all
St. Martin, St. Thomas, or St. Bart? Like, what's the difference?
Well, St. Bart's is a French island, and the best way that I can describe it is a really chilled Saint-Tropez, French Riviera, but on an island, and just like a laid-back version. The beaches, are they the most beautiful beaches in the world? No, they're not.
They're pretty beautiful, though.
No, they're not. They're this wide. They're not that beautiful. Like, there are other, Anguilla and stuff like that, they have better beaches. But the party, the food, the culture, all of that, it's all French. It's the most beautiful, and I think there's a couple of Dutch, too. I don't want to leave them out. But it's one of the most beautiful islands to visit for those reasons, for the culture, really, for me. And of course, at New Year's and Christmas is the big time, and all the big P. Diddy's with their yachts come in, and they do all of the fancy stuff.
Yeah,
at
Christmas
that time.
Christmas week is like the week of the rich and famous. They're like, it's like, the $300 a night hotels are $1,000, $2,000, that kind of stuff.
And like July and August, it's basically closed.
To give you an idea, I tried to book, when we were there, I tried to book a year in advance. Christmas. And I said, can I get a reservation at the hotel? The guy says, what year did you want?
Yeah.
And I go, what do you mean? He said, well, we're sold out for the next 2. I was like, what?
Because they repeat and they come back.
So everybody who goes there goes back the next year. So
it's really it's a unique island. It's a really unique island.
And you also should know that they use the euro.
And they use it well.
So
it is not a cheap island.
No, we probably.
This is not a cheap vacation.
I mean, honestly, without being. No, what?
You don't need to tell them how much money you spend.
I wasn't going to tell them how much I spent.
Good.
I was going to tell them, honestly, without being a diva, you can go to, $100 a night dinner, like whatever your equivalent $100 a night dinner is wherever you live.
It's 3 here.
It's 3.
Mm-hmm.
It's 3.
Absolutely.
Here. Are you living in St. Bart's right now?
I'm currently.
It's 3 here. In our island. Oh, that was a horrible.
That was they don't sound like that. They're French.
That was a horrible French accent.
French.
Well, speaking of French accents, let's move on to our next segment.
Blame it on the jet lag.
Blame it on the jet lag.
This should be a fun one. So, blame it on the jet lag is really kind of just. I think we lost it at some point, and every once in a while not only lost it, I think we were lost. We were lost and lost it. I actually think we were trying to get out of the parking lot or something. But when you just get the giggles and you just can't stop, and you're funny. Like, I'm funny on the weekends, right?
Only on the weekends.
Only on the weekends. During the week, I'm not very funny.
You're starting to get funny because today's Friday, so you're starting to get funny.
Yeah, so I'm starting to get funny.
Yeah.
Well, you should see me on Sunday. I'm a riot.
Shit, it might have something to do with the gallon of mimosas, but go ahead. Just kidding. Not
Hold
really.
on, I have to fix this hair. It's bothering me. So anyway, yes. So I'm pretty funny, and we just have this funny banter sometimes when we're traveling and we're relaxed. But this one, I think we were kind of just delusional. So let's just cue the clip.
I just know I'm gonna die. I'm looking for the sortie. Where's sortie? Where's the sortie?
For those of you that don't know, sortie means exit.
Oh,
in
like
French.
you're so smart.
Honey, is there any indigenous animals on this island?
Yes. Skunks.
And how did the skunks get here?
Mayflower.
I know. It's Pepe Le Pew.
So for those of you that don't know and figured it out,
Sortie means exit.
and my wife just thinks that she's a genius, that she was just, helping me. But I think her Pepe Le Pew comment was actually very, very funny.
See, I told you I get funny. That must have been a Saturday.
All right, let's talk about. I get emailed all the time.
Do you want to show your abs now?
No,
What?
I'm not.
David did.
No, I'm not.
David did it.
Not today.
David did it.
Not ready. I
David
need to be.
did it.
Nope. Nope.
They were there.
I'm not going to unveil.
You should.
No.
Why?
I feel a little. I think I have my period. I feel a little poofy right now.
Feel a little bloated?
I feel bloated.
Do you need some Midol?
I need some Midol for my back pain. I get it once a month. So
This is very Queens.
understand that again. I was a fat mofo and did not know it. And
But you
here's the
weren't
crazy.
fat.
I
No,
didn't
you worked
think
out.
I was.
If you look,
I
there
worked
are
out.
abs, right? So here's the thing, right? And I'm just going to say this, and we're going to call it a day. He worked out all the time. He never stopped working out, and he had muscles underneath the fat. But the problem was the diet wasn't there. The nutrition wasn't there. So he had the muscles from working out. You like my imitation of muscles?
Yeah, it was good. You look like a 6-year-old flexing. Mikey, flex. Show me your muscles, Mikey.
So, so he had the muscles, but he didn't have the nutrition. So he had the muscles with a giant layer of fat over them. So you can see the muscles, but the fat is there. So this was years ago and 40 pounds heavier, I would say. At least 40, maybe 50.
It looks like, when you see this clips, again, sorry for the bad video, but it looks like somebody stuck a straw in me and went...
So what's really funny, though, is like when we're pulling these clips to do this podcast, we'll go, oh, damn. We're like, Rob. So that's why we've seen too many pictures and videos, and now we're just bringing it straight to you for fun. So
All right, so through the magic of video from a long time ago,
I told you he's Benjamin Button. Watch how much older he looks there.
take a look.
I'm too sexy for my shirt, too sexy for my shirt, so sexy it hurts. And I'm too sexy for Milan, too sexy for Milan, New York and Japan.
I can hear the screams of holy shit around the world.
So if anyone thinks that it's not possible as you get older, because I always have people go, yeah, but I'm old, or I'm 40, I'm this and that. Right there. There's
Honestly,
your proof.
if anybody has any questions, this is a shameless plug, but if anybody has any questions, put Jet Set Body Podcast in the... we generally don't, make a point of like going back and forth with questions on nutrition and stuff like that. But if anybody who watches this podcast has a question about Jet Set Body, just put Jet Set Body /podcast or something so we know where it came from. If you have questions about it, but literally everything that changed me to go 40 pounds lighter is in the Jet Set Body program. So there's the plug.
Absolutely.
Abs.
Absolutely.
Ooh, that was good.
So there you go. There's that.
Let's
Next
talk
up.
So every now and again, I'm gonna mention two of them, and we're only gonna show one of them today. We'll save it for another one because I didn't have a chance to find that video. But every now and again, you get some weird injury from the road. So this is a new segment we're calling Injuries from the Road. This one, as part of our St. Bart's theme, was where Kim somehow Did you step on a cactus? What was it?
There was many. Okay, so the hotel we were staying at, the Guanahani, which I really love that hotel.
Great hotel.
Great hotel.
No problem giving them a plug.
No, it was amazing. They have this little hill to the side, so we thought we'd climb up the hill and do some video. Well, climbing up the hill is quite a little nature thing, and it's almost deserty, so there's cactus and stuff like that. And
it's cacti, though, right? Cacti?
Okay.
Cactuses? No, it's got to be cacti.
Cacti.
Yeah, cacti.
We'll go with cacti.
There's cacti.
So there's cacti. It sounds weird.
It does.
Up on this hill, and I apparently just got attacked by it. And I don't really know how it happened. I don't really recall how it happened, but I know the video camera was rolling because I was holding it as my husband was relieving me of the cacti.
So the best part is, like, I felt like, who's the one in the Bible that pulled the thorn out of the Samson or one of them? I felt like the Bible character. And for those of you
Where's your CCD?
For those of you...
Didn't you go to CCD?
That's...
My mother will tell you who it was.
For those Catholic people, CCD is...
Central City Dump?
No, it's Catholic, it's some kind of training every week that you go to learn about.
And it worked.
And it worked because I am completely a heathen. I'm the worst Catholic in the world. Sorry, moms. So anyway, in this clip, you'll be able to see
that made it sound like you were raised by two moms, like two gay women.
No, sorry, to my mother.
Modern family.
No, to my mother, the Catholic, and your mother, the Catholic.
Okay.
So, you'll see me pulling the cactus. Anyway, just go watch the clip. Take a look.
1, 2, oh! 1, 2, oh! 1, 2, oh! Okay. You want me to come back and get it?
You can see. Now the other story is, and I'll find this video and we'll do it in another podcast. I was driving down the road. This was crazy.
Sicily.
I was in Sicily. Was it Panarea, one of those islands?
Selena.
Driving down the road
on the scooter.
All of a sudden, like, I'm turning around the corner and Kim's on the back. We're driving, scooting away, and all of a sudden I go, ah!
I thought he had a heart attack.
She's like, oh shit, he's dying. What's wrong? I'm like, ah!
I'm like, park before you die.
Like, what? She goes, well, pull over. I couldn't even talk. And she's like, are you okay? I'm
he's
like,
holding his chest. I thought he was having a heart attack.
I didn't know what the hell it was.
And he's a little bit of a diva.
No, but this was so bad. And you'll understand that I was not bullshitting on this. It was so bad, I pull over, I take my shirt off, and Kim...
Because that's a normal thing to do.
Kim sees this wasp stinger in me.
It was like a needle.
How long did it take before my chest blew up?
Well, 5 seconds. He started swelling, and I'm like, do I pull it out? Is this like, when something impales, you're not supposed to pull it out?
Right. She's like, he's impaled. I'm like, does that count for a stinger?
It was a big stinger, so I had to pull the stinger out. But I don't even know that we have that video, so it was funny.
No, we don't. How could we have a video? You were saving my life. There isn't a video.
I really thought we were on the other side of the island where like no one lives, so it was kind of freaky. But anyway.
I'm gonna skip over a segment. We'll come back to it. I want to move in, since we were talking about the body. This is a good spot for it. Let's talk about the awkward segment. Sometimes.
I was trying to save the best for last.
That is the best. I'm doing the best. I have a lot to say about the last segment. In our awkward segments.
No, it goes awkward.
Awkward.
Yeah.
There you go.
There you go. That was it.
So.
Save that.
Somehow, when the camera is shooting you, and you're brand new to this stuff. You don't realize that...
You don't block it right.
If a guy is... If you're filming a guy...
No, don't give the preface. Let me just say this, because it's better to watch it.
No, but you have to...
No. We'll talk about it later. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and set it up. When in St. Bart's, there are a lot of nude beaches. My husband decided to join them, and I have a little clip for you. Go ahead and roll it.
It's a rich and famous thing. It's very, very high-end, very luxurious. Not to mention, the greatest part for me about travel is the people that you meet along the way. So yesterday we're hanging out in Nikki Beach, and you probably saw the way more intense than I thought it was. You're just doing jumps and jumps and jumps, but halfway through I was like, enough! In St. Bart's, I'll keep it up.
Now, in fairness... I was wearing
Shorts.
Board shorts down to my knees, but we didn't think that we should have any part of the shorts showing. We just took, like, if this is where the short starts, we put the camera level right here, and so we show everything. So it literally looks like I'm a naked guy doing a nudist broadcast on the side of the road.
So there you go. There's that. And then here's my absolute favorite video. And let me tell you, sometimes people give my husband a hard time, but he has no issue making fun of himself, and he puts himself out there. So
when you walk down the beaches, as most of you know, and by the way,
and this was all my fault.
By the way, here's what I want to take a poll, because we have people that are international, and as we know, most Americans do not wear a Speedo.
AKA banana hammock.
Most Europeans do wear a Speedo.
Yes.
So. With
some guidelines, though.
Okay.
Like many wear, there's multiple kinds of Speedos. There's the Chippendale Speedo. There's the shorts Speedo. And then there's like the one that looks like the boxer briefs. You know, they're briefs. They're square cut, I think is
square
what they're called.
Yeah, square cut.
Now that we actually know the names of these, it's kind of funny. So there are different varieties of Speedo. I had a brilliant idea when in Rome, because we were in St. Bart's for 10 days. And by the way, I have to, quick funny story. We went to St. Bart's for 10 days, and I packed my husband's clothes. I forgot to pack his underwear.
Yeah, no underwear.
For 10 days.
Right. That was really fun. Don't even ask me what we had to do.
So we went to look for a Speedo. So I talked him into trying on a Speedo.
She's like, honey,
I'm like, everybody's doing it.
Everybody's got a Speedo. Why don't you try? You have a good body, by the way, 40 pounds fatter. Okay, you have a good body.
I loved you then.
You have a good body. Put on the Speedo. So we go to the. I figured, okay, well, if we're gonna do it, let's do it right. They got a big fancy Ralph Lauren store there, right? So all the big fancy schmancy wealthy people are in. It's like a nice one, like not just like a mall one, like a really like one of their big stores. Yeah, flagship stores. So we walked in. I was like, okay, if I'm going to get a Speedo, I want to get a good one, and we'll get the Ralph Lauren one. So please, if there are kids in the room, I beg you,
if you're eating,
stop. If you get nauseous easily, okay. If you're slightly uncomfortable seeing gory things, okay?
If you're homophobic, you shouldn't actually just be watching this podcast to begin with, because you're a douche. So let's just start with that.
Yeah, right, exactly. And you'll understand what that comment means in a second. This is a video of me in the dressing room.
At Ralph
Lauren, 40 pounds heavier, trying on a Speedo for the first time.
No Speedo.
Moment of silence.
Sexy, isn't it?
Moment of silence.
Sexy.
Shall we just? Is there anything that needs to be said?
But why? Here's my question: why did we go with the Chippendale Speedo for you to try on?
I think because we just
that was a good idea.
I think we went in and we said
less is more.
No, I think we went in and we said we want a Speedo, and the guy handed us a Speedo.
The guy, it was a girl,
or whatever,
and she had to be laughing in the corner.
Okay,
no,
so.
She did not make any money on that one.
Let's go to the I was.
All right, I'm hiding for this one.
Okay.
Just kidding.
So, as many of you have yourself, you have an iPhone. You probably have an iMac. You probably have an iPad. You probably have an iPod, right? My wife, for some strange reason, embraced everything with the Apple culture. Everything. I mean, loves her iBook, Mac, loves everything. But the iPhone, she always had some problem with. There was always an issue. It was like, it's a toy. I don't want the iPhone. I don't want it, is what she kept saying. It's like, okay. Well, then it hit a point where I said, wait a minute. Every friggin' day you use mine. If you don't like it so much, how come a day doesn't go by that you don't use mine? And she's like, it's just, you have good internet. And so she's slowly starting to come around. She's a BlackBerry user.
Do you want a funny story real quick?
No. Slowly starting to come around, okay? Then one day she says, I think that I may want an iPhone. And I went, oh, were you?
Hold on, I don't want to get there yet.
Okay.
Very funny thing. So, if you've ever emailed into Hey Jet Set, and I reply. It's usually me. I check it. It comes straight to my phone. I like to stay connected with our audience, friends, and all of that. So
that implies I don't.
Yeah. I forward to him what he needs to do, and then he replies. Usually replies back to me, and I have to forward it back.
I always forget which one when you forward to this one to that one, reply all, and I don't know.
So typically, because the BlackBerry has a little keypad and it's really easy to text, or to return email and stuff like that for business people, because this is a business. Business. I respond from my BlackBerry. I can't tell you how many people I have had reply back and say, I can't believe you use a BlackBerry. Your husband is all about Apple and the iPhone. I cannot believe you use a BlackBerry. It happens once a week where I get that email, and I laugh every time because, when I send with a BlackBerry, it says sent with the Verizon BlackBerry or whatever. So,
so she makes the decision and she says, I'm going for it. So yesterday, the day before yesterday, not yesterday, but the day before, we walked into the iPhone store, and I walked in gloating, full of glee.
And by the way, with the video camera rolling, and I didn't know I was going to be on camera that day, I would have put makeup on in my normal life.
So you have a little live video of her getting the iPhone. And here we go.
Honey, where you going? You getting a what?
iPhone.
Oh, why not just have a BlackBerry?
Because I want the map.
Because you want the map?
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
Do you have anything to say?
It's not that hard to say you're wrong. Admit it all. Go on, go on.
We are officially doing it.
Just to hear you say to me that I was right and you were wrong. It's not that hard. Go on, go on.
That made me feel good.
That made you feel good?
Little things.
Little things in life.
Little things. And so I ask you, honey.
Yes.
How do you like your iPhone?
I like him. I love the map because I love maps. I can play words with my mother on my phone, which is fun.
You can.
The Facebook app is so much better than the BlackBerry, but the texting sucks.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, I don't know what to do because I feel like, Elmer McFudd with the Elmer McFudd. Did I just make him Irish?
You did. Elmer McFudd. Elmer McFudd. I saved my impression. That wasn't bad.
Oh, that's funny.
All right,
Elmer
so we're going
McFudd.
to wrap up with our awkward goodbye segment. So again, you think this shit's easy. So we take the video camera. We're in St. Bart's. We're trying to say goodbye for our video. Kim sets it up on some rock car, somebody's head, whatever.
Because contrary to popular belief, we do not walk around with a production company.
It's always great when a hotel...
Rob, where's the camera?
It's always great when a hotel wants us to come out and, invites us to see something new and stuff. And they say, how many rooms will you need for your production crew? And I go, what? And they go, well, your crew. How many is in your crew? I said, I don't have a crew. So, well, who does the camera? I go, it's in my wife's purse. Yeah. And they go, really? So nothing fancy here, okay?
But the reason that we do this too, not to mention the fact that we like this is what we do and it's our passion. When we're going into places that are a bit St. Barty, can I use that?
They don't know what that means. Say it.
A bit.
Say what's on your mind, woman.
A bit she. To be
Beverly Hills, she, bling, 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 bling.
Yeah, when it's a bit like
that was good.
That was good.
For those of you who watch Real Housewives of Beverly Hills,
you'll know what
I'm
that
talking
means.
About.
So when it's a bit like that, it's nice to have an understated camera and not be in people's face. So that's kind of also why we do it. But.
So this segment you see over here is us setting the thing up, and in the beginning you'll see me going, okay. So here's what we're gonna do. When the camera, I'm gonna count to 3. 1, 2, and then when I go
It's the
3,
whole thing.
when I go 3,
Unedited.
we're gonna, when I go 3,
It kind of reminds me of the Whitey video where Whitey's like, "Happy New Year!" Like
we're both gonna go goodbye from. Okay, so watch how that went.
Look at the camera. You know what? Look at the camera. Yeah. Now, count the 3 in your head. Yeah. Welcome to beautiful. Okay, ready? In your head. Ready? Welcome to beautiful St. Bart's.
It was good, right?
It was good.
Was that good?
Thank God we've gotten better since then.
Well, I want to thank everybody. This podcast has become absolutely way bigger than we thought it was going to be. We're having a lot more fun than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be a pain in the butt, but it's actually been a good time.
But you know, I see the thousands and thousands of downloads and views, but I don't see all those people commenting.
What is the deal with you people? Why don't you comment?
Can you just throw
Help
a dog
us
a
out.
bone? If you like us and you want us to keep doing it, you're going to have to help us by commenting and giving us a rating.
We need your
A
help.
5-star rating.
Don't make me beg you. Just get on iTunes, give us a 5-star thing, and go, yo.
5-star thing?
A 5-star rating, and say, these guys are awesome. We love their podcast, because I have a goal. My goal is this year to beat Rick Steves. I want to beat him. I love him, but I want to beat him. We want to be the #1 travel podcast. And the only way we can be #1 on iTunes is by you leaving a comment. So please go to iTunes. The name of the podcast is Jet Set Insider. Just put that into the search bar. Make a comment. Send us some love. Okay? That is it for today. We wish everybody a very, very happy and fun week in America. This is Super Bowl week, so weekend. Sunday. I don't know much about sports. My wife, I do know, is from New England.
Go Pats! Woo!
And I am from New York, so go Jets. Is that who it is?
No.
What? Who is it? Who is it?
We're just gonna the Giants.
I thought they were from Jersey.
Shh, don't tell
Are they from Jersey?
Don't tell anybody.
Sorry. Anyway. Bye. Have a great week, everybody.